Hi, Patrick. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the process of adding those Google Calendars to your teacher pages. As you can see, I'm here on your website. I've gone ahead and taken the liberty of going to your page, and as you can see, I've got your page built here. What I've done is I've created a second page that I've titled Patrick Bond Class Calendar. I think you'd probably want to follow that procedure because it allows you to make a pretty good, easily searchable permalink. I've also over here, the parent page, decided to make the parent page your teacher page. And then I've chosen to make it a full width page that the calendar displays across it completely. Now, I've gone ahead and logged this into the current high school district's Google account, which is the first step you want to have. If you have for yourself as a Liberty teacher, I'd create a new Gmail account or a new Google account for yourself as a Liberty High School teacher. That way your calendar only displays as your calendar for the class. That's a very important step. You can, if you've already logged in, you can just hit the Google Calendar button, or you can just come in here and type in Google Calendar. And it's a pretty simple process. It opens it up, and it will probably welcome you and say, hi, welcome to Google, et cetera, get through all this malarkey and sync with your mobile and all that other stuff. You can just get it out of the way if you don't need it. It does direct you to the very next step, which would be to finish setting up your calendar. What I would do is I would create a very specific calendar. You've already the calendar itself is already set up and ready for you to go. If you're looking at it in the month agenda, this is what the month looks like. For being able to test it, it would create an event. So you want to create an event, just call it like a test event. Choose today, or just to have it all done. Let it be an all-day event. Don't worry about locations or anything, but just make sure it's got an event color. And not to worry about any of the reminders or anything. You can set these cells up for you. You can choose to have it, as an email reminder. You can choose to have it multiple days, weeks, or hours before. I would recommend you put reminders with all your events because that will make it so that your students who subscribe to your calendar will get updates. After you're done, you just hit save, and there is your test event. It's already gone ahead and put in the regular holidays that are coming up, Patriot Day, things like that. You can choose to sync in and use other calendars as well, but you don't really need to. The most important step for getting this done is to move over here into the gear area and choose settings. You then click the settings button here. Once it brings you in here, the next step is just click calendars so that you move over to the calendar sharing option. And this is the current high calendar. So I'm going to go ahead and click that calendar. This brings us to the export page. Now the export page itself has an embeddable iframe area, but by default this is the wrong size for your page. So I want you to choose the customize this color, size, and other options. This opens up this page. Now for the sake of giving yourself a title, I would call it basically your school title. So I'm just going to put test title as the name for here. But you can put in your school. You can put in. You can make calendars for each type of classroom that you have. You could literally make as many calendars as you wanted, and then just title them, your CTE class. If you had English teachers who also taught different classes as well, they could have multiple calendars, and you could create multiple pages for them. But this is just the calendar title that displays in this code. By default, it should be set to the month. I know that you're talking about, the agenda and the week views. Those aren't very useful so much as the month view. The width that you should go for is 915 pixels wide. This will allow it to fill the width of your page space as best as it can. Let the week start on a Sunday, and let the default language be English. You have the option to change the background color. It doesn't give you a whole lot of options like the specific Liberty red. You could choose gray if you wanted or something. I've opted not to change the color. As you can see here, it gives you calendars to display as options. You could choose to let the U.S. holidays display as well. You could subscribe to lots of other calendars. Eventually, once I'm able to get the Liberty High School calendar to export out to a Google Calendar, this will be one of the options. You can just have your events right next to the current events that are displaying on the Google Calendar. It's up to you, but right now just choose your specific calendar that you created for this class, and then once you've got all of your sizes right, everything ready, just come over here, copy this text, then come over to that new page you've built and choose the text tab and just paste it in. And that's pretty much it. I've already tested this, so I just hit publish and update. And then I'm going to view the page, and there it is. So as you can see, this fits up the width pretty well. and it gives your test title here. You can have as many of those calendars as you want, so any teacher who teaches multiple classes can have multiple pages. What you want to do is you want to instruct your students, if they want to subscribe to this calendar, to come down here and click the Google Calendar Plus button right here. That will direct them, if they are logged in as themselves in a Gmail account or any Google account, it will automatically log them into their Google Calendar and ask them to add that calendar to their regular calendar syncing. That will make it sync up with their mobile devices, their email, etc., etc. All of your alerts for events will be sent out to them at scheduled intervals that you choose. So, that's pretty much it for getting the calendar done. If you would like to display that calendar, then I'd recommend you come over here into your regular page and add something in your header to let the kids access it. You could choose to do it any way you want. You could just type in, class calendar, and you could bold it, highlight it, link it. You can just grab this link and come on over to your actual site. Just do that. That's one way to do it. Another way that I'd recommend you look into is using the button option. And when you come in here, the button option basically lets you title it. So you could type it class calendar. You could also, give this calendar title basically any of the titles for any of the classes that you're currently using. You paste your link in. I would choose probably the large size, but if you had multiple calendars, you definitely go with the medium size. Predefined styles, these give you different things, like if you wanted to have the alert or the info button or any of these options, you can choose those. I'm going to choose none for this one. You can then put your background color in for the button itself. I don't have the Liberty Red with me at the very moment, but let's just pretend that was the Liberty Red. I would just choose that, and I could set the border to be black or something, whatever I chose. Then basically you can choose to have light or dark text. I'm just going to leave it as is and just choose insert. It provides you with a set of shortcodes, which don't really preview the button, but if you choose to view the page, or rather preview the page, you will see what the button looks like. And as I said, you can choose the smaller ones that have multiple calendars here, whatever you want to do. You can make your own custom graphic and link to that. But when they click that button, it'll take them directly to the class calendar. So, you said you got a couple of teachers who are looking to pull off this feature. The steps are basically have them go into Google and create a Google account for their classroom so that they don't accidentally share their personal calendars and what have you. After they've created a personal Google account, the next step should be for them to go into Google Calendar and basically add their events. Then once they've got their events all added, you just go in with their login and grab their embed code, come over and create their new pages, paste that iframe in, and you're good to go. I hope this was helpful. Talk to you later.